I'm basically a literary critic. First description of me would be a critic. And then I'm also a fiction writer. I've just given actually 2 publications of short stories, and I've written 3 humorous novelettes, I would call. I'm not novellas. I would call them novellas. That was long back anyway. And I've translated a lot. I've even translated Alfred Hitchcock's stories into Telugu, translated Gulzar into Telugu, translated Malgudi Days of R.K. Narayan into Telugu. I've done a lot of translation work, and I've also written plays for radio. For All India Radio Hyderabad, I've written plays on different issues. I've also made, for the children's, I have also made plays out of Chandamama Kathalu, Chandamama short stories. The Betala short stories on Chandamama, which are very popular, I've written them as plays, half-an-hour plays, 26 episodes, and I broadcast them on World Space Radio, for which I received a national award for best production. So though I'm not a playwright, I've written for radio quite often. And I haven't written poetry, but I've translated poetry, especially this National Poetry Festival. They broadcast it in all languages. So I've translated, Akashvani's. I've translated around 20 poems for Akashvani. So I'm best known as a critic. I think I have 7 books of criticism. My major concern in criticism is a novel. My major area of criticism is novel. My PhD is also on the narrative techniques of novel. In fact, that was the first PhD, first research work on narrative techniques in novel in Telugu. Mine was the first thesis on that. So later I've written about myths, mythology, women in mythologies, Intihasam, that sold a lot of copies quite suddenly. That was a series I was writing for a web magazine. This was actually trying to bring out new information about women writing, especially fiction writing, which was not recorded in history till now. For instance, I'll just give you one example. Actually, Robinson Crusoe of Daniel Defoe is considered to be the first novel in English. But I managed to find information 40 years before him. There was a lady who wrote a novel in English, which was literally unearthed. People knew about it, but they didn't call it the first novel in English. So I wrote, first of all, I started with that, saying that a woman writer is the first novelist in English, not Daniel Defoe. So this sort of research work I've been doing on world literature, and especially concerning women contribution to it. Even as you all know, the very first novel in world literature is by a woman. That was in the 11th century. Tale of Genji. That also I've introduced to Telugu readers. My intention is to introduce world literature to Telugu people on one hand. Another thing, try to bridge between the old aesthetic methodology of criticism with the new literary theories. So this is what I try to do, whether in a classroom or whether as a literary critic or whether reviewing a book or anything. I think the continuation of literary criticism in Telugu or Indian languages, because earlier we had only Sanskrit poetics. All literary criticism was Sanskrit poetics for the whole of Indian literature. We indigenously or regionally, we developing literary theories hasn't yet happened, if you ask me, except in Tamil we see some. Otherwise, in other languages, we don't see some literary critical theories. So we are trying to go towards it. We are still receiving from either from Sanskrit or from Western models. So to bridge that gap and try to do something in regarding to literary theory, that is also something I am working on. That is in brief about me. In case you want to ask me something, you can.
I'm also a Telugu person. So when it comes to the criticism, Telugu, mostly people keep praising the books, but there is no proper criticism. I don't know why it happens, but I think there are also a few writers, few critics who have properly managed to criticize or else like give the proper data of the book, what it is and why it has to be represented or important. Yeah. So is that the main default of Telugu? Because literary criticism, whenever I talk to my friends, I don't come across this criticism. So what is the main drawback of it? Why it is not?
Yes, I agree with you that these days there are only 2 types of critics. If you like a person, you praise him. If you don't like him, you condemn him. The book. Literary criticism has become personal these days. That's the tragedy of literary criticism. What I heard from my counterparts. I was talking to Malayali friends. and Kannada friends also, they were saying it's become personal in most languages. Now, a person wants to promote his friend's book, he's going to write all nice things about him. He doesn't do it. That's not called criticism at all. It's not even a review, if you ask me. So it's just in praise, appreciation. I would call it appreciation, but definitely not criticism. So it's happening everywhere. This is what happens is there are now a lot of coteries, literature has become very political. Writing, publishing, everything is political, if you ask me. Distributing, everything has become political. So the writers themselves are personally political. I'm not talking about politics of the subject. I agree. There are a lot of politics involved if you take a subject and write about it. But persons are becoming political. So what happens is somebody wants a book reviewed. I write a book. I want it to be reviewed. I go in search of a reviewer who is going to write only positive things about me. I do not let the magazine take the initiative and send it to somebody else. I am the one who suggests the reviewer. Obviously, I suggest somebody who is a friend of mine. So that is how they are all ready-made. You get ready-made reviews in all magazines. That's why you don't see impartial criticism anywhere. So that's one of the reasons. Second reason is, I would say, the fault of the critics also, in one sense, because critics are no longer reading much. You see, the writer can do without reading. Writer, he creates. It's his imagination, his experience. He can easily write. But for a critic to critique it, he should have knowledge of social sciences. He should have a lot of history. He should know a lot of subjects to understand and interpret that book. Where are writers here who are literary people here who are reading? Hardly anyone reads books. People don't read, don't equip themselves. No, it's easy for a writer to write, but critiquing a book is a totally different matter. It's also a thankless job. It's a totally thankless job, criticism. Whatever I do, I don't get recognition as a critic at all. Only if I'm a short story writer or a novelist, I'm given awards and prizes. I'm revered. Book signing also happens only to them, not to critics. So critics also, I think it's a fault of the critics that they are not reading much. People are not equipping themselves. They don't know what happened earlier. Yesterday, actually, I wanted to congratulate Aditya because when he was talking in a group, he had read the complete works of all the 4 people he was interviewing. Yes. Which happens very rarely. Nobody reads all the books. At least the prize, maybe others would have just read the prize-winning book. He read all their earlier fiction. That's why he could ask intelligent questions. That sort of reading is not happening now. So to become a critic, you should know a lot of other sciences also. You just read a book and say it's good. You're not a critic. That's an opinion. That's not criticism. So,
and also another question. Yeah. You have translated books from English to Telugu, and also you can able to write articles in English also. You have written many articles. So mainly when it comes to the translation in Telugu, most of the writings are not getting translated. So of course we don't have like such a long number of translators. So how can we change, or else like we the contemporary people, we are trying to get into the sphere of English and also Telugu, like managing. So what can it be like a suggestion for us?
For Telugu, I noticed that the lack of good translators. That is very, very evident for us. From regional language to regional language also we have very less. For Kannada, fortunately we have good translators. Tamil also not bad, but Malayalam I can't find a single translator who can translate from Telugu into Malayalam. So that's lacuna is still continuing. Or like Marathi or Hindi, we have plenty. Hindi we have plenty of people to write, but not Marathi or Gujarati. No, we don't have. And Telugu to those languages has to go via English. In which case, as you said, first the English translation should happen. But even in English, we do have half a dozen quite good. I wouldn't say good. I won't say they're perfect translators. We do have a few. But then again, also I'm going to say this is also politics. Literary translation is also a lot of politics involved. No, who decides which book is to get translated? Who is to translate it? Those people who can get away, who can finance the translator, who can finance the printing of the book also. Only they go for translations. Others who though they may write very well, but they don't have enough funds to do that. They have to pay the translator first, and also the translator should like the book. That is also another thing. Some translators are so particular about what they are going to translate. I don't blame them. If I don't like a book, I can't translate it easily. So we have all this lacuna, and our command over the language, English, is very, very poor. I'm sorry to say. We have command over the language for speech probably, but definitely not for translation. For translation, you can't just know the idiom of the source language. You have to know the idiom system of the target language. Very clear. Everybody knows the theory. But many of us, we speak good English, we may write good English, but still we are not able to translate, especially fiction. For fiction translating, you should know the idiom. So that I think Telugu people are not still equipped. We have very few translators. There were a few. I think most of them have passed away. The few good translators are no longer here. But right now, I can't find, and especially poetry translation is very bad. Fiction is slightly better.
And ma'am, how do you get into translating? Because I'm asking something related to what you said before.
Yeah.
What is your personal journey as a translator?
I didn't have any personal journey. To be very frank, the first translation I did was only for money. Somebody was paying me well. I needed money. I simply translated. I got the money. Fine. That was done. When it comes to literature, when Gulzar's short stories, the award-winning book of Gulzar, Dhua, was up for translation, I was actually, I think, advisory board member of Sahitya Academy Telugu. That was in 2001 or 2, just advisory board member. It came for discussion. Who should be given? I simply shouted among the people, I am not giving it to anyone, I want to do it. So that I literally claimed and took Gulzar's. So I did the translation. Of course, it came out, it's supposed to have come out well. I tell you what happened. Because then I was not sure. I was doing it from English. Because I don't know Urdu. I can't read the script of Urdu. I can understand the language to a certain extent, but I don't know the script. So I was doing it from English. At some places, I had some doubts. I was not sure the English translation was accurate. That is when I went to a friend in Delhi. He knows Urdu, Sanskrit. He's basically Hindi guy, but he knows Urdu and Sanskrit also equally well. I called him up and said, I am going to tell you the English sentence. Will you open your book, Gulzar's book, and see what is written there and tell me what's happening? That gentleman is a very good friend of mine, Madhukar Upadhyay. He kept his book open. I started asking him questions. I was telling him the English translation. Then he was telling me where it was not wrong actually. English translations are never wrong, but there was a nuance there which I could bring out in Telugu, which didn't come out in English. Directly from Urdu to Telugu, I could bring it out. So this is how I did it. Though I had some doubts, I wanted to clarify. Without clarifying doubts, I think nobody should do translations. Whenever you have a doubt, you should go to the source language. Somebody who knows the source language. If not the author himself, I can't possibly go to Gulzar. Gulzar won't spend any time on me. Though I did show Gulzar the book. At one point of time, I met him in Delhi. I showed him the book. I translated Telugu. He said, I'm very happy it's in Telugu. I didn't know. So he didn't know that. So I just met Gulzar and told him that. That's all. Dhua in Sahitya Academy winning book. Gulzar Kathalu. That's all.
Madam, 1 minute.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Kannada poet.
Yes, sir.
And I know Telugu also.
Oh, okay, sir. Good.
And I have translated from some Telugu poems into Kannada also.
Oh.
You were telling about the difficulty of translating poetry into
Yes, sir.
some other language.
Yes.
See, as you know, poetry is language specific.
Yes.
So, do you think is it possible to translate poetry into another language?
No,
It's very difficult, no? It's very difficult. But say, since Telugu and Kannada, they are sister languages, and the script is also almost the same, no? And also, I know Telugu very well, so that I could translate into Kannada very easily. So, if you know both the languages, I think then the translation of one language into another language. And formerly, Sahitya Academy used to conduct translation workshops, and they say they used to bring some 10 poets from Bengali and 10 poets from Kannada, 10 poets from Telugu and 10 poets. See, that way, that was very good because there was interaction.
Correct.
As you said, we could interact with the other poet, and see, as you said, the music of the language, and
Correct.
see, that
Sound.
we could,
The sound we don't get in translation.
So,
The words we may get, we may have equivalents. The sound is generally very specific to the language.
yeah.
So that is where I found the Lakunan. I'm glad because you are one of the ideal translators probably who knows both the languages well.
Yeah.
So if you know the idioms also, then it becomes easy. So like sometimes from English to Telugu we are able to do.
In English itself,
Telugu to English you are not able to do. Just
if you take it, the translation from the English, so almost 90% of the poetry is lost there only.
yes, correct. You're right, sir. So that's why I'm saying we need more people who can directly translate from other regional languages of India.
Yeah.
everybody should be a bilingual person, or at least know not one but two languages at least. English everybody knows, or Hindi everybody knows, but another language, third language, we should know. Otherwise, we can't go for translation. That's the problem for most of us.
Yeah, ma'am, you said a very wonderful point that we don't have enough translators, but and also why there are no translators means there is no lucrative jobs there. Like
Correct.
it's not you
That's
don't.
what I said. Finances are involved.
Correct. So for this reason, right, Tamil Nadu government from last 4 years, they've been granting every year some funds, and they list out the books that has to be translated in other language. You go sign for it, you will get that. You have to give some sample translation work, and
yes.
they will give you the grant, and publisher also they'll give money to publish the book.
Okay.
Okay, so since we are the only state in India where we have two states, only language in India where we have two states, two state governments, why can't they compete with each other to promote their literature?
they are competing all right.
They are
But only
competing,
different
but
things.
not in a positive way, but they are competing in a negative way.
I know, I understand.
Why not the people like influential people in the literary circle who are also have an influence in the politics? Why can't they do this kind of activities and take it up and see the other states who are doing this, right?
You are asking for a very literally impossible thing in Telugu states. But as you said, the writers, if they all come together, that's also a very moot point, writers of Telugu all coming together and then taking one resolution to influence the government. This has to be done, as you said. We need somebody in the political arena who has also something to do with literature, at least some affiliation to literature, which you have in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. In fact, I wanted to tell you that because once I was in Kerala, just a few months back, I was in Trivandrum. I was presenting a paper, where? In the Legislative Assembly. Legislative Assembly of Kerala has a week-long festival of letters. And I was giving a 1-hour speech there. And who attended? My MLAs, Speaker of Assembly. Speaker was sitting as a listener in my... After that, he liked my speech. He wanted to discuss further. He invited me to his chamber and gave me tea. Can this happen in Telugu states? Can you imagine this in Telugu states? You all know what Telugu states is. People are... Because even politicians, MLAs sitting and listening to a paper by somebody from Hyderabad coming and giving a lecture, they were interested. If you have that sort of an atmosphere, then whatever you say can be possible. Even in Tamil Nadu, I am highly appreciative of the Tamil Nadu government for what they do to literature. But I don't know much about Karnataka government. There is a center for translation by the Sahitya Academy itself situated. The head office is in Bangalore only. I am a member of that. Funding is less. That's what happens to the Center for Translation of Sahitya Academy is there here in Bangalore only. I am a member of that. So I come for their meetings also. Yearly once we meet and we decide which books are to be translated. We are allotting them to others. It's taking a lot of time, but all the Sahitya Academy rules apply. All the rules apply. But some books are coming out, definitely. Kannada to Sanskrit to Kannada, Kannada to Sanskrit, a few have been done already. So that is going on, but that is the only organization which is doing, apart from this, your government. So in Telugu, I think, I don't know, it's a mammoth job. It's not an easy job. We need a movement, not just one resolution. We need to have a movement for that. I have to fight, literally. Pardon, sir? I can lead. I can put the proposal. That's exactly what I mean. I can put a proposal. I can get some letter. Let me see, as you said, very rightly suggested. Without saying this, I can start the movement. We already tried in some discussions. Nothing came out of even the discussions. So we have to try again and try more consistently. Don't leave it till something happens.
Madam, I have a question.
Yes.
What do you think will be the future of translation in the times of artificial intelligence?
Pardon? Artificial intelligence. Yes, I know. Actually, AI is taking care of a lot of translations. We are trying an experiment in Telugu. And the way this translates, it doesn't know the nuances of the language. A word has 2 or 3 meanings. It is only one meaning. You see, the way we have to feed internet to get the correct, accurate translation, we have a big job to do. We literary persons have to feed a lot into the internet. Otherwise, it will have only one. I remember Mother Teresa was translated into Amma Teresa. When I gave it to it, it said Amma. Naturally, it's a mother. It only knows Amma. Doesn't know that it's a proper noun. So it won't know that Mother Teresa is a proper noun. She thinks Teresa is a proper noun. So mother is Amma. So it automatically does that. That sort of translation is happening already. We have around 3 engines, I think, for this translation of Google, and we are trying them. And for that, we have decided. Actually, I'm teaching in a university based in California now. So we are because they are all experts in IT. All my students, though they are doing masters of Telugu with me, they are actually IT specialists by job, by their profession. So they are all trying to actually do something innovative so that Telugu translation becomes easy. We are asking them to do research thesis on this. 6 men, all one of them is a doctor, one is an engineer. All these people are trying to do so that an engine create a software for the AI to use whenever there is a translation. We have to do a translation. They are all struggling. They are helping us. So hopefully something will come out of it. That's what we are doing right now, to feed AI, to give something to internet so that AI can take it and use it and give it back to us. Because nuances are something only people who know the language can do. It can't take any indirect messages, nothing. It can't take. It can take only literal. It's totally literal, AI. So we have to see how the figurative things come out in translation. It's a long-term job, sir. It won't be over soon, but we started it. In our university, it's called Arya University. It's based in California. There we started this job, actually. Google, okay. Acha, you tried Telugu to Kannada? Okay. But in Facebook, you get automatic translations, don't you? In English. English too. Yeah. Then do it. Yeah. Okay.
So, ma'am, as a critic who's also a writer,
Yes.
you will approach writing a little bit differently to just people who are
Yeah.
writing without being a critic.
Correct.
So, what kind of things do you consider from the critic lens?
Yeah. So that is the basic, I think, fault in me, defect in me. I wanted to be actually a good novelist. I wanted to be a fiction writer. Somehow I got into this criticism. I think it's my grandfather's inheritance that he was a major critic in Telugu. So, my grandfather was Ralapalli Anantakrishna Sharma, who is known in Karnataka. He was a bilingual critic. He was a Kannada and Telugu writer. So he knew Tamil very well. He knew Prakrit very well. So he was one of the best translators I know. He translated Gadha Saptashiti from Prakritam to Telugu, and then Jayapasenani's Ritaratnavali from Sanskrit to Telugu, and he even translated Purandaradasa's Kritis into Telugu, which I found only a few months back in his house, in my uncle's house rather. I got them only recently. I found them, Purandaradasa's Kritis, 600 or some hundreds is there. He has translated 1/4 of them into Telugu. So from Telugu to Kannada, his own articles he translated. Sahityam Mattu Ganakale. These had many chapters from Telugu. So anyway, he was a very good critic in Kannada, I think, Telugu and Kannada. So I inherited that from him. So I turned it critic. Once I became a critic, I noticed that I'm unable to write fiction. You see, I'm so critical of myself. I write one paragraph, I stop it, I say, this is stupid. And this dialogue is not good. I write one thing, next day I start reading that story, I think it's humbug. I don't like it any longer. And one more thing is, I read widely. I read a lot of world literature. So whatever I write, I said, somebody has already said it.
Benchmark.
Somerset Maugham has written about it. William Faulkner has written about it. Ernest Hemingway has written. Somebody has written something. Marquez has already said this. Why should I write? If there are so many great authors in this world who have already said all the good things I wanted to say, why should I write again? And I am never going to be as good as them anyway. So I don't write. So this is actually a very big defect in me. I am capable of writing more, I know. But the critic in me shows up his head immediately. No, once he turns up, nothing is final. Of course, even then I've written around 40 stories, and some of them published. One was translated into 2-3 languages also. One whole book has been translated into Hindi. It came out last week. My first short story collection has come out in Hindi last week only. So I'm managing to write, but I'm unhappy with the status of my creative writing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I've been in the media from day one. I was in All India Radio, Doordarshan, all private channels, ETV. Yes, I was in ETV, MAHE TV. MAHE TV, I wrote a sitcom. I wrote a series, 42 episodes sitcom I wrote for MAHE. I did a lot of shows on ETV, mostly literature and women issues. These are the two subjects. I do short shows. I was the first talk show host on Doordarshan. The very first in any language, actually. In regional languages, I was the first talk show because Doordarshan had just come in all languages. I was the first talk show host. So, and then later in World Space Radio was a satellite radio. It was there in India for 10 years, not even 10 years, 7 years or so. I was the Telugu director, Telugu channel director in that. So I used to couple language, literature with songs. In World Space, you have to play songs only. That's the channel, film songs. That is the channel. But I started talking about literature from Greek tragedy to modern Telugu poetry. I talk about everything under the sun and then play songs. So this gentleman knows that. He was listening to it. My listener, one of my listeners is here actually. He has the complete collection of my shows. No, I didn't. No, that's not my channel. It's iDream. Right now I'm doing iDream Media. I'm doing a talk show, not talk show. Akshara Yatra, it's an interview based one. But I am the host. I interview one writer every month. It's supposed to be doing every month. I'm not doing. Yes, everybody seems to have watched it. Okay. I've done 47 episodes. People have seen only Yandamuri Virendanaths. Yeah. Who? Me? Yeah, I didn't get angry. I was told, where is Aditya? Aditya was commenting, madam, you could have got angry so many times. How come you are so cool? No, that's a different topic, madam. I'll talk to you separately. This is not here. Yeah, I know. Many viewers got angry. And they said, why didn't you get angry? I said,
So, ma'am, I think
I don't know Kannada, but I know that Yandamuri has been translated into Kannada so often. Any other language in India is available. Yeah. No. I don't know Kannada because I lived with my grandfather only for 3 years. He was in Mysore, but in later years he taught in Mysore. Later he came to Tirupati first, did the Annamaya project. He was the first one to compose Annamaya. The very first song composed by him is still sung in the same tune, Brahma Kadigina Padamu in Mukhari Raga. That was composed by my grandfather. Balamurali Krishna also sings in the same tune. Yeah. So he started composing Annamaya. Later he finished the Annamaya project was finished. He came to Bangalore. He was living with National College principal Panishai, my uncle. Balagopal is my brother, my own brother. There was, I should say. Okay.